As I touched on in the last bit, it is very important that we understand the true state of the world and our place within it. Currently, the United States comprises approximately 5% of the world population, yet we consume nearly 25% of most of the available resources in order to support our collective consumeristic lifestyle. This tells two things about the current state of the world. The first thing is that obviously we cannot sustain this level of consumption and also help the rest of the world become as developed as we are, or we would need 5 Earths to supply all of the natural resources we would need, and that's not even accounting for the rapidly growing population. Second, it directly implies that not only are we very much responsible for the use of child labor and the abuse and oppression of workers in third world nations, but also that we cannot possibly even sustain our own lifestyles into the future without continuing to bleed these nations of their natural wealth and the health of their people. You may argue that our laws make it impossible for us to exploit foreign peoples in the way that I claim. This is true to an extent, at least as much as it has been spun in order to make it palatable. The real truth is that many nations, especially China, which produces vast quantities of our consumer goods at affordable prices, lack the same sort of laws and regulations regarding business relations with other countries. What this means is that if a 12-year-old child dies of a heart attack in Bolivia because he worked in a cobalt mine to feed himself, and that cobalt went to China to produce television sets, and you bought that TV manufactured in China, then your money still indirectly financed that exploitation. Because of this, my assertions come full circle. Not only do we need to develop the Oxon Project, or something comparable, in order to sustain our own lifestyles, but we also owe it to the rest of the world to develop this source of energy and share it equally. Our final repayment for the suffering that our money and our lifestyles have subjected the world to will be to provide them with the tools to join us in the new global society where energy resources and industrial might belong to everyone and are not simply tools for power and control. For this reason, I also believe that the other wealthy industrialized nations of the world, particularly Japan, Germany, Britain, and China, just to name a few, also owe it to the world to invest heavily in the short term in the development of this project, and to also agree to share the benefits with all people, regardless of current economic or technological might. The only stipulation that I might add for eligibility and limitless free energy would be a pledge to go out of their way to protect and preserve the environment, which should be quite easy with unlimited energy, and to respect and liberate their own people from ignorance and subversion. This is the goal of the Declaration of Peaceful Intent, and it is my goal to facilitate the cooperation of the nations and the people of the world.